Okay, picture this. You are sitting in a conference room.
Hmm.
The air conditioning is doing that, that low, aggressive hum.
Hmm.
You've just pitched what you think is a brilliant idea, maybe the best idea you've had all quarter. You stop talking, your heart's racing a little, and you wait for the reaction.
Right, the big moment.
And your boss looks at you, smiles this tight little smile that doesn't quite reach their eyes, and says, "That's interesting." But for some reason, the temperature in the room feels like it just dropped 10 degrees.
It's a physical sensation, isn't it?
It is.
You know the words were polite. Interesting is a good word, technically. It's definitely better than, "That's terrible,"
Yeah.
but your gut is just screaming that something is wrong.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
feels like a trap. And that's because, as we've found in the deep dive for today, it often is a trap. Today, we're going on a mission to decode office English.
Specifically, the office English that sounds nice, professional and organized, but is actually masking rejection, frustration, or some kind of hidden demand. It's the language of plausible deniability.
It's the passive-aggressive code of the workplace. And I was thinking about this while reading the source material. If you're in an international setting where English isn't everyone's first language, this nuance is absolutely terrifying.
Oh, absolutely.
You might think you're getting a compliment when you're actually getting fired.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not fired, but definitely shut down.
Well, it's a valid concern. I mean, on the surface, these phrases are designed to smooth over social friction. They prioritize politeness over clarity.
Right.
But the research we're looking at today suggests that this lack of clarity is exactly where the danger lies. It creates a gap between what is said and what is meant, and, well, that gap is where anxiety lives.
So to save everyone a little bit of that anxiety, we've pulled together 7 specific phrases, 7 red flags that we were going to unpack. Think of this as your translator for what your boss or coworker really means.
Let's call it a decoder ring for corporate ambiguity.
I love that. Okay, let's jump right into the first category. We're calling these the delay and deflect tactics. And the first phrase is a total classic. If you work in an office, you have heard this. Let's circle back.
Ah, yes. The geometry of corporate avoidance. Let's circle back.
It sounds so efficient, right? Like, we're moving fast, we can't stop now. But your idea is so valuable that we're going to return to it and give it the attention it deserves.
That is certainly the surface meaning. It sounds organized. It implies the idea is kept safe in a holding pattern.
But it's not.
But the reality, according to our sources, is quite a bit starker. In the vast majority of cases, let's circle back, translates to, we are not doing this now, and quite frankly, we are probably never doing it.
Hold on, though. Is it always that cynical? Because I feel like I've used that phrase just because I genuinely didn't have time in the meeting. Does that make me a villain?
Not a villain, no, but maybe a little unclear. The sources point out that there's a very specific tell to distinguish a genuine delay from a brush-off.
Okay, lay it on us. How do we know if we're actually going to circle back or if we're just circling the drain?
It comes down to specificity. If you or your manager say, let's circle back on this tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m., that's real. There is a tangible commitment attached to the phrase.
Right. It's on the calendar.
Exactly. But if the phrase is just, let's circle back on this later, with no date, no time, and no follow-up email,
Does not happen.
it's a polite way of saying, this is not a priority, and I'm hoping you forget about it so I don't have to address it again.
That makes so much sense. It's the vagueness that gives it away. It's like when a friend says, we should hang out sometime. You know you aren't hanging out. Sometime is the land of never.
Precisely. Sometime is code for no time. And that brings us to the cousin of circle back, which is equally vague. We'll see, or I'll think about it.
Oh, these are dangerous because they sound hopeful. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
Implies there's a decision-making process happening. It implies there is still a chance for a yes.
And that's why they are so effective at managing disappointment. The psychology here is about conflict avoidance. Saying no is uncomfortable. It feels like a confrontation.
So you just kick the can down the road.
Exactly. You say, I'll think about it.
So you're saying we shouldn't get our hopes up.
The insight from the sources is that a real yes in a business context almost always comes with next steps.
Okay.
A yes has momentum. It sounds like, yes, let's do that, send me the budget, or yes, speak to Sarah about that.
Right. Actionable items. Verbs.
Exactly. If the response is open-ended, just I'll think about it with 0 instructions, you should interpret that as a no to protect your own energy. If they surprise you later with a yes, great, but don't bank on it.
I feel like I need to go back and reread some emails from last week. I definitely interpreted, we'll see, as You are a genius. Let's just find the budget.
It's a common trap. We hear what we want to hear.
All right, let's move to the next category. This one is brutal. We're calling this the polite shutdown, and this is the phrase I mentioned in the intro. That's interesting.
This is one of the most confusing ones for non-native speakers especially, because in normal life, if something is interesting, that's good. You want to be interesting.
Right.
If you're at a dinner party and someone says your story is interesting, you keep talking.
But in a meeting.
In a meeting, if you pitch an idea and the response is a flat, calm, that's interesting, spoken with a smile, it is often emotionally cold. It's a wall.
It's so dismissive. It's like patting a child on the head. That's nice, honey.
It translates to, I don't agree with you at all, but I do not have the energy or the desire to argue with you right now.
No.
Or, even more definitively, I have already decided no, and I'm just waiting for you to stop talking so we can move on.
Ouch. So is there a way to know for sure, like a litmus test for this? Because sometimes things are actually just interesting.
There is a test, and again, it comes down to engagement. How do you know if they actually find it interesting?
How?
They will ask a question. If I say, that's interesting, how would that work with the new budget? Then I'm engaged. I'm exploring the idea with you.
But if I just say, that's interesting, and then look down at my notepad.
Or if there's silence. Or if they immediately change the subject. That's interesting. Anyway, moving on to item 3. That conversation is dead. The idea has been killed.
It's the silence that kills you. Okay, so that's interesting is basically a polite way of ignoring you. But our next category takes it up a notch. This isn't just ignoring. This is aggression in disguise.
These are the phrases that make your stomach drop because they often signal you're in trouble, even though the words themselves are technically neutral.
And the heavyweight champion of this category has to be, just to clarify.
Oh, this one depends so heavily on tone. But in email, where tone is absent, it almost always reads as hostile.
Just to clarify, it sounds like the speaker is confused, right? Like they just want to get on the same page. Help me understand.
On the surface, yes. But in a tense meeting, or a long email chain, just to clarify, is a weapon. It usually precedes a correction that's meant to embarrass you or put you back in your place.
It translates to, I think you messed up.
Or, you should already know this, and the fact that I have to explain it is annoying me. It's often used to correct someone publicly without sounding like a bully.
Yes, it's the reply all of spoken language. Just to clarify, the deadline was actually yesterday.
Exactly. It frames the speaker as the helpful one, I'm just clarifying, while highlighting your error to everyone in the room. It's a power move.
So what's the strategy here? Because my instinct is to get defensive. I want to say, well, actually, nobody told me the deadline.
That is the worst thing you can do. If you get defensive, you look emotional, and they look like the calm, rational clarifier.
So what do you do?
The sources suggest a technique here often used in psychology called gray rocking.
Gray rock, like becoming a rock.
Exactly. Be as boring and uninteresting as a gray rock. Do not give them the emotional reaction they're fishing for.
So robot mode.
Essentially, stay calm, answer with facts only. If they say, just to clarify, didn't we agree on the 5th? Do not say, well, I thought, or start making excuses. Just say, the initial date was the 5th, but we adjusted to the 7th based on the vendor delay.
Clean? Simple?
Don't apologize excessively, and don't fight the tone. Just address the facts. It diffuses the gotcha moment because you aren't playing the game.
I love that. Don't take the bait. Now, the next phrase in the aggression in disguise category is one that usually signals the meeting is about to get really awkward. Let's take this offline.
The dreaded offline.
On the surface, this is just good time management. We're getting bogged down in details. Let's handle this separately so everyone else can go to lunch.
And sometimes that is true. We have to be fair. But often, let's take this offline is a signal for meeting drama.
Drama.
It translates to, this conversation is becoming uncomfortable, or you are challenging me in front of an audience and I want to shut that down immediately.
It's the stop talking button.
It is. It essentially means, I don't want an audience for what I'm about to say to you.
Oh, that gave me chills. It feels like getting sent to the principal's office.
It should. While it's not always bad, it is rarely casual. If a senior leader says, let's take this offline in response to something you said, you should prepare yourself. You are likely about to receive some honest, potentially tough feedback once the door is closed.
So don't walk into that offline meeting thinking you're getting a high five.
Probably not. Go in prepared to listen and keep your cool. Don't go in swinging.
Okay, let's shift gears to our final category. These phrases aren't necessarily aggressive, but they are dangerous in a different way. We call these the productivity traps.
These are the phrases that steal your time and energy.
First up, can you help me with this?
Now, this is tricky
Yeah.
because we want to be helpful. We want to be team players. And can you help me? Sounds like a collaborative request for a favor.
It sounds like a quick thing. Can you help me move this table? Can you help me look at this slide?
But context is everything. If your boss says this regarding a task, especially a recurring task, it is not a question. It is an order disguised as a favor.
Right. You can't say no to, can you help me with the Q3 report?
Exactly. But the danger here, as pointed out in our notes, is scope creep.
Scope creep. I hate that term, but it's so real.
The phrase, can you help me, is vague. It can imply, just look this over, or it can imply, this is your responsibility now forever.
Oh, yeah.
You might think you're doing a one-time favor, but suddenly you are the Q3 report person for the rest of your tenure.
I have definitely fallen into this trap. I helped with the newsletter once,
Yeah.
and 3 years later I was still writing it.
That is the classic example. You own what you touch.
So what's the fix? How do we be helpful without accidentally adopting a new job?
You have to clarify the scope immediately. Before you say yes, you define what help means.
Give us a script. How do I say that without sounding lazy?
You could say, I can definitely take a look at the draft for you this afternoon, but I won't be able to take on the editing process full-time.
Boom. Boundaries.
You frame it as a specific, bounded contribution. You're still helpful, but you aren't a doormat.
That is crucial. Okay, the last phrase on our list.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this might be the most common lie told in offices around the world. And honestly, I think I'm guilty of this one more than any other.
I think I know which one you mean.
No rush.
No rush. The biggest lie in office English.
It sounds so chill. Sounds like the speaker's relaxed. They respect your time. They're a cool boss. Hey, can you send this over? No rush.
But what is the reality?
The reality is that I'm panicking because I don't know what no rush means.
Exactly. It usually translates to, I don't want to sound demanding because I want to seem like a cool boss, but I actually want this soon. I just don't want to be the one to set the deadline.
It's passive. It puts the burden on you to guess how urgent it is.
And that ambiguity is stressful. Does no rush mean whenever you get to it in 2026, or does it mean by end of day?
I once had a boss say no rush and then follow up 2 hours later asking where it was.
See, that's the danger. So, the defensive move here is to never leave it hanging. Do not accept no rush as a deadline.
So we need to force a deadline.
You need to set clear expectations to protect yourself from silent resentment. The safest response is to reply with a delivery time.
So if they say no rush, I say.
You say, sure, I can send this by tomorrow afternoon.
And if they actually needed it sooner?
Then they will correct you. They'll say, oh, actually, could you do it by noon? And now you know.
Ah, okay.
But if you just say, okay, and wait 3 days, you might be walking into a trap where they're secretly fuming that you haven't sent it yet.
It's about taking control of the timeline.
It is. It's about removing the ambiguity that no rush creates.
So we've covered, let's circle back. We'll see. That's interesting. Just to clarify, let's take this offline. Can you help me? And no rush. My head is spinning a little bit. It feels like every word in the office is a landmine.
It can feel that way, but I think it's important to synthesize this. What is the core theme here?
It seems like it's not really about the vocabulary definitions, is it?
No, it's not about the words. It is about intent, tone, and timing.
And context.
Right. That's interesting. Can be genuine. No rush can be genuine. But you have to look at the patterns.
And we have to acknowledge the international factor here again. If you're listening to this and English isn't your first language, or if you're working with colleagues from a culture with a very high context communication style, this is incredibly difficult.
Absolutely. The literal translation misses the subtext entirely. If you translate "that's interesting" into many languages, it's a pure compliment. In British or American corporate culture, it's often a stop sign.
So the goal isn't to be paranoid. We don't want our listeners walking into work tomorrow suspicious of everyone who says good morning.
No, the goal is to be perceptive. It's about emotional intelligence. Understanding these codes prevents those awkward meetings where you keep pushing an idea that has already been killed with a, that's interesting.
Or waiting for a circle back meeting that is never going to happen.
Exactly. It saves you time and it saves you face.
So you now have the decoder ring. You know the 7 most common phrases.
But here's a challenge for you and for everyone listening, and this connects to the bigger picture of how we communicate, because we aren't just victims here, are we?
Oh, I see where you're going.
Now that you know how to spot these phrases in others, pay attention to your own speech this week.
It is uncomfortable.
It is. Ask yourself, how often do you use no rush, when you actually want it now? How often do you say, let's circle back because you don't have the guts to say, no, that's a bad idea?
I am definitely guilty of the no rush one. I do it because I want people to like me. I don't want to be the bad guy.
We all do. These phrases exist for a reason. They grease the wheels of social interaction. They prevent us from, killing each other in the break room. But sometimes clear is kind.
Clear is kind. I like that. Maybe next time, instead of let's circle back, I'll just say, I don't think this is a priority right now.
Brave.
We'll see.
I see what you did there.
And I'm taking that as a no.
Smart interpretation.
All right. Thank you for diving deep with us today into the secret language of the office. We hope this saves you from at least one awkward email chain this week.
And if you enjoyed this discussion, maybe we can circle back to this topic in the future.
Don't you dare. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Bye-bye.